Hello there, Khalid Al-Malamani here. When you code on your Arduino for quite a significant amount of time, you start realizing that some of the data that you produce, you just want to keep them on a computer, on a file. Now, you might have noticed that the Arduino does not have the capability. You cannot write a file to the computer using the Arduino IDE. And even the serial monitor does not have it's not too big, right? It doesn't have any file save options in here. Now, so that means that we have to install another program that will do that. And if I can share my screen, we can get started on that. And we just go on Google here or any browser or search engine you prefer. We can just search on for TeraTerm. The website that has the weird letters is actually the correct one. So TTSSH2 OSDN.gp is the correct website. We can just press on that here, and then we can go to the first download link that we see here. So we go on the download page, and then we just download the exe file. You could download the zip file and extract it, but the exe file would just do the same thing. And then we can just wait a bit here. It should start downloading. Here we go. And it is quite quickly, so we can just launch the executable file and then just accept administrator privileges. And then we can just go and accept agreements and go next. And then there is various implementation you can have. You can and get a Sigwin terminal with it too. It's not too big, so I'll keep it. But a Sigwin terminal is just so you know, like a Linux extension to the terminal here. I'll just keep the default setting. I want it in English, and then you can select to create a desktop or not, and then you can select various Sigma features. And all of these are not necessary for our current needs, so I will not select them. I'll go next, and I'll just go install. It's fairly quick. Now just launch TeraTerm and press finish, and that is it. So now you have TeraTerm on your computer. So it is a serial communication I'm looking for, just like Arduino, and it is on port COM3. Now you might need to search for the ports to find your Arduino. Then you can just press OK here. And then we can just expand this further to see it better. So as you can see here, all the data that is currently sent by the Arduino microcontroller based on the code that's on the board here is sent to the TeraTerm, just like the Arduino IDE. Now for the sake of practice, and I did mention this in a previous video, if you try and launch any code right now, it will say the COM port is busy because, as you just saw, it is using the serial COM port, and that means that the Arduino IDE does not have access to it because the TeraTerm is using it. And as it does say here, the selected serial port timeout does not exist or your board is not connected. Just because the serial port is busy, it's currently being used by TeraTerm. So until it completes the 500 loop iterations here, that won't be too long, so it is done here. So, and this is the various data we collected. Now, the TeraTerm here does not have a file save feature. What I mean by that is there, as you can see here, out of the options we have, you could try and go send file and then save it. Now, this is mostly sometimes luck-based, so a lot of cases it will not work. So if we go sensors data and we go open, it does not really, it doesn't do what you think it will do. It doesn't work. What we will need to do is actually log the file. Now you can call whatever you want here. We can just call it sensors data and save that under anywhere you want. Let's keep it on desktop for now. And we have sensors data here and we save it. And then what it's currently doing, it's logging. So anything that is being sent from the microcontroller to the TeraTerm, and anything that is being sent from the TeraTerm to the microcontroller is being logged. You can pause logging at any moment and then it will stop, as the name implies, we'll just pause it. And then you can just click on it again, it will resume it. You can send comments as well. So if you just say like, hello, for example, we just sent a comment about during that time to the log. We can also view the log and it will just tell you what's currently happening, what currently you're seeing. And then we can also show the log dialog, which is basically some details of where it's saved and how much time, how much it's consuming. And then if you do that, it also activates the stop logging. So if you do show log dialog, it stops logging, and that's it, you're done. If we just go to the desktop here and we open the sensors dialog, you'll see you only have hello. Now, a question you might ask is, where did the data go? Logging does the data at the current moment. Notice that we waited till the code ended and then we pressed log. If you want the data that you sent from the very beginning, just make sure in your code here that you add a delay function at the beginning. Um, so in this case here, I do have a delay function of I have a delay function of 3 seconds. That time is usually enough. 3 5 seconds ish is out enough just so you can start the logging feature of whatever term or whatever terminal you're using. In this case here, we're going to be using TeraTerm. In a few minutes here, I will show you actually how to do it on a mobile device as well. And then, so this is for TeraTerm. So we actually, let's clear this window here. So if we just clear this and we can just do, yeah. So what I can do here is go edit, clear screen. It will clear the screen for us. What it actually did is just add a bunch of spaces. If you scroll up, you'll see it again. But anyways, we can just once again go edit, clear screen. You can do it a few more times. And then we can go file, start logging. And then we can actually call it the sensors again. And then save that. And then it's currently logging, and then I press the reset button on my microcontroller here. And then it will start pulling in some data. It is not auto scrolling. You can just bring this to the bottom here. It will just auto scrolling by itself. So that's what it's currently doing. It's currently logging all the data you're seeing here. If you go on file, view log, you can see that it's currently inputting all the data. So it's quite simple. It's not too complicated. So, and all we do here now is just wait till the data is complete. Shouldn't take too long now. Now, something to note about TeraTerm, it's quite powerful. If you do get TeraTerm, you can use it for multiple things instead just of a serial port. If you do get, let's say, a Wi-Fi, for example, or Arduino Uno Wi-Fi, you can connect it using the TeraTerm. You can if you have any Bluetooth connection, not the BT16 though, but any normal classic Bluetooth connection, it will work. So it is a pretty important software to have. So that looks good. Now, let's say you actually want to timestamp your data. So you want your data that is sent here to actually have a time associated with it. Any log data, what you will go to is go on setup, and then you go in additional settings. And then there's a lot of settings that you can play with here. What I'm actually looking for here is the log settings. So in the log settings here, keep the append and plain text as is. What we also want here is a timestamp. So if you see a timestamp here, we want to do it based on local time. The different ones here, this is just local time is based on your computer. UTC time is just based on UTC. Elapsed time is based on elapsed time from the start of the logging. So whenever you pretty much press the reset button or just launch your code. And the elapsed time of the connection was whenever we started the connection. So in this case here, we just wanted local time. You also start a feature with all stacks logging. That means that anything that is sent to your Arduino here, or anything that serial port sends or you send, it will log it. And and then you also need to select a default log save folder for that. And this case here, I do not want to set that. You can also change the default name. Keep Notepad as your opening. That should be ready to go. And if I just press, so in this case here, let me just double check. So it's still logging on the same file, but just press reset again and just let a few more data go in and just go file, stop logging, and then go to my data sensors here. So this is the one we just did here. This is the previous one. The only had hello. So data sensor is the one we just completed. And as you can see, the first 500 here are all normal. And then if we start going down, that's when you start having timestamps of the current time here. So of course, December 23, 2013, it is in 24-hour format. So 22 is 10 o'clock. And then seconds and even less than a second is here. So this is what the timestamp will look like, and this is what you have for the TeraTerm here. So this is for the TeraTerm and doing it on your PC. You can also log using your phone, which I will be demonstrating in another video here. And as such, this is how you log using the PC. And stay tuned for the next video on how to log using your phone. Looking forward to seeing you on the next video.